everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for some yoga. Happy Memorial Day weekend, first of all. And we're going to be working on the fronts of our bodies this morning. So our hearts, the center of our chest, our bellies, our hip flexors, our quadriceps, everything on the front of you. We're going to stretch it and open it out and hopefully just make it feel really spacious and lovely. So we'll be doing some lunges, some back bending postures, some stuff to just keep your breathing deep and your body open. You don't need any props for our class today. If you like to use them in your practice, anything that helps you is perfectly lovely. I'm just sitting on a blanket here for this very first part of our class. If you want, you can join me, just bringing your hips a little bit higher so that it is more comfortable to sit cross-legged if you like. You can also use blocks, and I'll give you cues for when you might want to use them, but they are certainly not required for this class today. If you just have yourself, you are more than well equipped to do this yoga flow. When you're ready, go ahead and make your way to the front of your mat. I'm just going to sit facing the long edge so you can see me, but you can sit facing towards the short edge of your mat because we'll be moving from there as we get into our flow. And as you come to sit at the front of your mat, relax your shoulders. And then on an inhale, bring the center of your chest forward. Start to find the cow shape of your spine. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Bring your gaze perhaps a little up. As you exhale, round your shoulders. Pull your belly back. A little bit of cat pose. Inhaling to come forward. And exhaling to roll back. I encourage you, if you feel comfortable doing so, to close your eyes here and just begin to feel the movement in your body. Feel as you inhale your chest expanding, your belly wall, your abdominal muscles starting to lengthen. And then as you exhale, let all of those areas grow soft as you pull the belly button back. Working at your own pace here. Let's do one more each of cow and of cat. Bring yourself to a neutral spine. Raise the crown of your head towards the ceiling. If you're sitting cross-legged, you might like to just cross the legs the other direction, just to get some equal stretch in your hip. It's also an opportunity, if you are quite comfortable, to make yourself comfortable. Inhale, open your arms really wide, even bring your hands a little back so you feel the center of your chest, just like that cow pose, opening up again. And now as you exhale, give yourself a big hug, wrap your right arm on top of your left arm, see how far behind your back you can get your hands as you round forward. Inhale, open everything up. And then exhale, now wrap the left arm on top of the right as you give yourself that big hug. Opening the chest, opening the shoulders, opening the belly. And then relaxing. And you can just alternate sides, right arm on top, and then left arm. Just continuing to warm the spine, warm the hips as you rock a little forward and a little back. Maybe once more, hugging on each side. This time, stay in your hug and just allow yourself to round a little forward. You can move a little side to side as you hug yourself here. You can bring your chin towards your chest. Deep breath in here. Long breath out. And then as you inhale, you're going to open everything up. You can reach your arms overhead if that feels nice. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. Rock yourself back onto your sit bones and place your feet on the floor. If you're not yet there, you'll turn to face with me towards the short edge of your mat and remove any prop out to the side. Hold behind your thighs. Inhale, lift the center of your chest, come back into that little bit of cow shape in your spine. And then as you exhale, articulate your spine back through that cat pose. Tailbone to the floor, lower back to the floor, mid back, upper back, and then you could draw your knees all the way in towards your chest as you come to lie on the mat. Rock yourself a little right to left. And then release your left foot to the floor. Extend your right leg to the sky, catch behind the thigh or the calf or even the ankle if you feel quite open here. Drawing the right leg a little in towards you. Feeling a stretch at the back of the leg for a moment. Relax your shoulder blades against the mat. If you like, you can extend your left leg to the bottom of the mat if that feels better. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, bend your right knee. Take your right knee towards your right armpit for a happy baby. You could hold your foot or your ankle or your calf or your thigh and just guide your right thigh bone towards the right hip socket. So you're grounding it down here. If it feels like it's too much to have the left leg extended, you could always bring it back in. See what feels nice to the insides of your hips. And then bring that right leg back to the center line. Hug the right knee in towards the chest. Draw your shoulder blades again far down towards the mat. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. And then here, you can keep your head on the floor if you like, or if it feels comfortable in your neck and your upper back, you can press your belly button to the floor and you can round a little bit into the C-shaped curve of your spine, pressing your belly button towards the floor, chin towards the throat. There should be no tension in your neck if you choose this option. On an inhale, you're going to extend your right leg out, 45-degree angle, or if that feels like a little too much, you can go 90 degrees, and then bring the right knee back in. Extend the left leg out. And exhale back in. And you're just going to alternate and make sure if you have your head lifted that it feels comfortable. You can even place your hands back there if you like. Or you can continue to hold onto the legs. And you just want here to continue to connect the belly button towards the spine. So you're drawing your belly towards the floor. Your low back is not moving around at all. You can go for the angle that feels good. And remember, if your neck feels really tense, drop your head to the floor. You're still going to get the work in your abdominals, but without that kind of clenching sensation that can happen in your chest if you try to keep your head lifted without support. See what works for you. And it's not about how many you can do or how fast you go. It's about really staying connected. Belly button to floor. Low back grounding down. So you're starting to warm up the abdominal muscles, warm up some of the stuff we're going to work today. Just try a couple more on each side. And last one. Draw both of your knees in. If you have your head lifted, you're going to release your head to the floor. Maybe wrap your arms around your legs and go a little side to side again. And then release the right foot to the floor. Extend the left leg up to the sky. Catch behind the leg, the place that feels right to you. And just draw in lightly until you feel a slight stretch in the hamstrings and the back of that left leg. Remember, you can adjust the distance of the right foot to the body. Customize. Shoulder blades relaxing. Take another breath here. On the exhale, start to bend your left knee towards your left armpit. You could hold your foot or anywhere on your leg that feels good as you come into this half happy baby. Feel free to adjust again your right foot. And the thigh goes into the hip socket. So you're drawing down and in. You're starting to warm up the inner aspect of your hips. And don't feel like you have to be still here. You can move around a little bit. It's all good. When you're ready, you're going to hug that left knee back into the chest. Hug the right knee into the chest. Again, you can keep the back of your head on the floor, or you can lift. You can do hands behind the head or hands onto the legs, so kind of customize. See what feels good to you. Extend the right leg out as you inhale. And exhale, bring it in. And the angle is totally up to you. It could be really close, almost touching the floor, or it could be a 90-degree angle. What is right for your body this morning? What else have you done with your abdominal muscles lately? And then you can stay right here, just alternating sides. This might feel like plenty this morning to get a little bit of heat. Or you can start to add a little bit of a twist. If you want to take the twist, you'll want the back of your head off the mat. You'll want your hands behind. As you extend your right leg, twist the right elbow towards the left knee. And then left elbow to right knee, extend the left leg. You just go a few times side to side. Or you can continue to alternate. Again, the angle of the legs is totally up to you. See where you feel your abdominals starting to work and focus there. If you're working in a place where all you can think is that you're going to fall flat on the floor, you're not going to be able to do very many, and focus on keeping your form, keeping your belly button towards the floor, keeping your neck relaxed. Work at about 75% of your max effort instead of 100%. If you feel nothing, that's when you start to lower your leg a little lower, closer to the floor. We're also doing a fair number of these, so you don't have to work in, again, that maximal position. It's still the beginning of class to get the benefit, because we have the duration to give us a little bit of burn in our abdominal muscles. Maybe one more on each side. Keep the belly button glued down. Come back to the center line. Lower the head, hug the knees. If you want, you can hug the thighs, you can hug the calves, or you can even turn the soles of the feet up and go to happy baby. Rock a little side to side, release your back. And then coming back to the center line. You're going to catch behind your thighs, so you can give yourself a little momentum, a little bit of a kick forward, peel the back of your head off the mat, see if you can roll all the way up to seated. You can sit cross-legged, or you can extend the arms, out in front of you. Reach your arms up over your head now. And then exhale, twist over to your right. Drop your hands down, maybe onto the thigh or the floor. Relax your shoulders. And now pull your belly button a little bit back to your spine so you feel your sits bones, you feel your tailbone sink towards the floor. As you inhale, come back to the center line. As you exhale, go to the other side. Again, you kind of pull your belly button back just a little bit so you feel your tailbone moving downwards. As you inhale, come back to the center line, bring the arms up. As you exhale, bring the hands to the floor and make your way to your table pose. Feel free to cushion your knees. We're going to move back into our cat and our cow here. So spread your fingers nice and wide. You can have the tops of your feet flat, or you can tuck your toes under. See what feels nice there. Shrug your shoulders back as you release the center of your chest towards the floor. Relax your belly. Feel the openness at the front of the body. And then as you exhale, contract those abdominal muscles, lift upwards. Cat pose. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, draw in. And again, work at your own pace. One place feels really good. You can stay there an extra breath or two. And this is just kind of a arbitrary breathing pattern. We're breathing in and we're kind of opening up. It's a nice sensation. But you could try breathing the other way. You could inhale as you lift up and exhale as you lift down or lower down. and more of each. And as you inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Walk your hands a little bit out in front of you. Slide your shoulders over your wrists. Make sure your knees are comfortable here. And then exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Once you lie yourself all the way down to the mat, you're going to shrug your shoulders back. Your forehead can rest on the floor. You can just hover your head right above the mat. You're going to bring your right foot in and then your left foot in. So your feet are coming a little bit towards your buttocks. You can be pointing your toes or you can flex your feet here and then shrug your shoulders back. Baby cobra, lift the center of your chest and you're just coming up to the point where you don't need your hands to support you. You can even float your hands. And just notice what happens in your lower back is everything draws together, but you don't want it to draw together so far that it feels uncomfortable. Squeeze your shoulder blades together here. Take a deep breath. And then go ahead and release the head, release the feet. Now press the tops of the feet into the mat, squeeze the elbows in, lift into cobra. If you want this time, you could press into your hands and lift a little bit higher, opening the front of the body a little bit more. We're taking a couple breaths in each of these. Relax your shoulders. Soften your jaw. Feel that lovely openness across the front of the body. And then release. We're going to do one more. This time you're going to stretch your arms behind you. Let your palms be flat on the floor, so your fingertips are pressing down. Press the tops of your feet down, and again, lift the center of your chest. So you're not really using your hands, but you might get a little more lift here in this position. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Press your feet down. Feel where the work moves. And then gently release. Plant your hands under your shoulders. You could go back to your table pose, or you pull your hips back towards your heels and take a few breaths in child's pose, just stretching the spine. As you inhale, make your way back to table. You could stay there, or you can tuck your toes and lift to downward facing dog. And take a few moments. Feel free to pedal your feet or sway your hips. Get a little bit into the backs of your legs. And gently and slowly, as you are ready, you walk your feet 4 or 5 little baby steps, perhaps up to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway, maybe your hands on your thighs or your shins for this first one. As you exhale, fold forward. As you inhale, press your heels into the floor. Lift all the way up to the sky. One smooth breath today. You can take your arms out and up or walk the hands on the thighs for a little more support in the back. Exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. Inhale, open your arms up over your head. As you exhale, take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers or grab onto your elbows and pull your shoulders a little back away from your ears. You can lean a little forward into the hips and find the openness at the center of your chest if you want. Inhale again here, and then as you exhale, you guide your buns back, fold from the crease of your hips. Maybe you can keep your arms laced as you come back to Uttanasana. Let your belly drape over your thighs as you lift your arms a little higher, perhaps behind you. You can keep your arms laced behind you for this one, or you can always bring your hands to the floor or the legs. You're going to bend more deeply into your left knee as you twist and lift your right shoulder over to the right. If having the arms behind the back doesn't feel good, you can always bring left hand to the floor or the thigh and right hand onto the hip. As you exhale, you fold back to your Uttanasana, laced hands or not. Lift and twist towards the left, bending really deeply into the right knee. Exhale to fold. You're just going to do 2 more to each side. Work at your own pace. You can change up what you're doing with the arms at any point. And after you've completed that last twist to the left, come back to your forward fold. Unlace your arms if you have them still laced up. Press into your heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. As you inhale, roll yourself all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a deep, full breath here. And the next inhale, lift your arms back up over. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find your half lift. Maybe your hands are a little lower on your legs now. Exhale, plant the fingertips down. Step the right foot or the right knee to the back of the mat. Step the left foot or the left knee to the back of the mat, table, or downward facing dog. From there, slide forward, shoulders over wrists. If you need to move your hands forward from table, go ahead. And then exhale, lower all the way to the floor. We're going to go the opposite direction this time. So untuck your toes, move your hands back, press the fingertips to the floor, press the hands down. It's a little locust variation. Inhale, lift the center of your chest, roll your shoulders back. Exhale to release. Bring your hands under your shoulders. This time a more traditional cobra, shoulders shrug back. You can be baby. Or full adult cobra, see what feels good. Exhale to release. As you bring your fingertips down, or excuse me, your nose down to the floor, your fingertips are still on the floor, you're going to fold your feet in, and then inhale to lift. Exhale to release. Bring your feet down, tuck your toes under, move back to table, or all the way back to downward facing dog. From there, float your right foot to the sky as you breathe in, and then step your right foot up between your hands as you breathe out. Bring your left knee to the floor. Lean your hips a little forward, lift the center of your chest. Feel free to use some blocks here or to place your hands on your thigh for a little more support. If it feels good, you can keep fingertips to the floor. Inhale, keep drawing the center of the chest forward and the shoulders back just like you would in a cow pose. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to lower down a little bit. Move your right knee so it's right above your right ankle here. You're going to tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee up. We're working towards a crescent lunge. And you want to keep your back knee a little bit soft. So you're really supported here. Lift through the pit of your belly and see if you can come all the way up to standing. If that doesn't feel quite stable enough, you're welcome to take your back heel and set it down and do this as a warrior one as well. Keep that back knee a little soft if you have the crescent shape, and let your tailbone go towards the floor like we did when we were seated. You just pull your belly button a little back, you engage your lower abdominal muscles so that back part of you can relax. Maybe the arms come overhead and you feel a lovely stretch in the left hip flexors, left thigh. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. Relax the shoulders. Left heel pushes to the back of the room or into the floor if you're in that warrior one position. Your heel is grounded down. From your crescent or your warrior one, you're going to release your right hand, and you can let your right hand rest behind your back, or you can take your right hand onto your left thigh if you feel quite frisky today, and then again lift the center of your chest. Maybe you lean a little back, a little exalted crescent or exalted warrior position. Feel the deeper stretch at the front of your body. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you're going to fold towards the floor. Lower your left hand to the inside of your right foot, twist over to your right. Your right hand could come to your hip or all the way up to the sky. Press into the back heel. If you came from that warrior one position, you might want to spin up so that your foot is now facing straight forward and straight back. A little easier for the hips. Pull your belly button a little back towards your spine again. Inhale here. And as you exhale, fold towards the floor. You're going to plant your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Your left hand comes to your left hip. Look towards your left shoulder. Spin your left heel to the floor so the long edge of your left foot lines up with the short edge of your mat. Warrior two. Reach your left arm to the sky and inhale. Come all the way up. Adjust your feet. Turn the gaze forward. Inhale, flip your right palm up. As you exhale, fold to the back of the room, reverse your warrior, stretching the side body. If it feels good here, you can continue to take your arm a little behind you, looking up to the ceiling, rotating your heart, the center of your chest upwards. So you're going back towards the back bend in this one. As you inhale, come back to warrior two. As you exhale, you're gonna windmill all the way forward. Left hand comes forward, right hand comes down, left hand comes down. Turn to face the back foot straight forward and straight back. Plant the hands down. You can go three-legged table or three-legged dog. Right foot into the sky as you inhale. As you exhale, bend the right knee, stack the right hip on top of the left. You can gaze in your dog underneath your armpit. You're in table, it'll be more like gazing over your right shoulder. Inhale, square your hips. As you exhale, bring your right foot to the floor. High plank or low plank, sliding the shoulders forward over the wrists. Exhale, lower to the mat. Come all the way down. Untuck your toes. Fold your right foot in. Lift the center of your chest as you inhale. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. This might feel like plenty. You might decide to stay right here. If you want a little more, you might reach your right hand around, see if you can grasp your right foot. If that is possible, your next step is to turn to look back towards the front of the mat so you feel a bigger stretch at the front of the body. Maybe that's enough. Maybe you want a little more. You press your right foot into your right hand. You can lift the center of your chest and lift your thigh. A little half bow action, really stretching into the quadriceps. Enjoy for a few moments. Hug the right thigh in towards the left thigh, or the thighs towards one another. Inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to release. Take a moment to create a cushion for your hands. And rest your head. If you've got a lot of tension in your lower back, you inchworm your hips up a little bit and you wiggle your bum from side to side. A little mildly excited puppy. Just a little interested. And you probably feel like a total fool doing this. But don't worry. We're all in our own homes. No one can see you. Take another deep breath. And we'll take that over to the other side. So bring the gaze forward. Let your hands come underneath your shoulders. You're going to fold your left foot in. And maybe lift the center of your chest. And I have my whole forearm on the floor here because that feels really nice. But you can have your hands a little further in if that feels more comfortable. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and find that lift. There's a lot of work happening in the back of the body, a lot of muscular work, so that you can stretch the front of the body here. Maybe you want to go a little further, you reach around, you hold on to the left foot. And then if you like a little more, you press the left foot down, you lift the center of the chest, squeeze wherever you are, the shoulder blades together. Now lift the belly button away from the floor so it's resisting the mat. Hold here for a few breaths, finding this Ardha. Oh my gosh, I've just forgotten the Sanskrit name, but it's bow pose in English. That's bow pose. Half bow pose. One more breath. And then go ahead and release. Release the foot. This time press your hands down, push back towards a child's pose to stretch out your back. Reach your fingertips forward. Your knees could be close together, or you could take them a little wider if that feels better. And then inhale, come forward to your table. Or tucking your toes, you can come all the way up to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath or two here, maybe move around a little bit. Next, inhale, you're going to float your right foot to the sky, and then step your right foot up to the front of the mat. Step your left foot next to your right foot. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, one smooth breath rolls you to the sky. Exhale, your hands come down in front of your heart. Take a deep full breath here before we move to the second side. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down. Step your left foot or your left knee back. Step your right foot or your right knee back. Low or high plank, slide your shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, come all the way to the floor. Inhale, this time you're going to find cobra first, lifting the center of your chest. If you prefer, you can always take elbows down for Sphinx pose. Exhale. exhale to release. Next, we'll go to that locust pose, and you can just float your upper body, pressing the hands down as we did, or this time you could work to float the upper body and maybe float the lower body as well. Lifting up, hands are still pressing down, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale to release. And then on the last one, hands come under the shoulder. Feet come in, so you're pointing the feet towards the sky, or the soles of the feet can flex towards the sky, lift the chest. And it's like a little mini practice for what's coming next, which is maybe our full bow pose. Lift up. Exhale to release. Bring the toes down, keep them tucked under, press back, table, or all the way to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left foot. Exhale, step your left foot to the front of the mat. Bring your right knee down. And here you're just focusing on stretching this right front side of the body. So what you can do is just lean forward a little bit. Maybe lift the center of your chest. Feel free to use props. That can be really helpful. Or hands on the thigh. And if you do use props or hands on the thigh, you press the floor, the prop, or the thigh away so you can lift your chest. Soften your shoulder blades back. Take a few breaths here. Just kind of gradually moving deeper and deeper into these front of body stretches. And you may notice that it's front of body stretches, but it's back of body work. So you're working hamstrings, you're working glutes, you're working muscles of the back and of the shoulder girdle as well. Inhale here. As you exhale, you come a little bit forward. Go ahead and plant your hands down if you like. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee. Remember, you can go crescent lunge, which is back foot stored and back. It's a little more challenging for the balance. If that feels like a little too much wobble today, you can always place your back heel down for warrior one. If you're going from crescent, you want to really keep your knees soft. Lift the pit of your belly either way and see if you can lift all the way up to standing. Keep that back knee a little soft so the tailbone can sink towards the floor. If you have the back heel grounded, you want to just relax your tailbone towards the mat. Don't force it. It's not that you're tucking. You don't have to bump your pelvis forward. It's just a softness, a little bit of heaviness in your tailbone. We'll take a few breaths here. Back heel presses towards or into the floor, depending on its orientation. Lift the center of your chest. You might even pull your arms a little back towards your ears so you feel a stretch there. Go a little deeper. You'll bring the left hand down behind the back or even onto the right thigh. Draw your right arm back by your ear. Lift the center of your chest. Little variation of exalt. See if you can keep your front knee over your front ankle. Inhale here. As you exhale, fold forward, the right hand plants left. Shrug your shoulders back, draw your belly button in towards your spine. Left hand can rest or come up to the sky, see what feels nice today. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Inhale here. As you exhale, fold towards the floor. The left hand comes to the outside of the left foot. The right heel spins to the floor. Long edge of foot lines up with the short edge of the mat. Right hand windmills you all the way up. Warrior two. Reach your fingertips out. Soften into your hips. Left palm flips up and you fold back. Reverse your warrior. Open the sides of the body. If you like a little more, you can start to pull the left arm towards the back of your body, looking a little more up towards the ceiling. So you direct that stretch from direct side stretch into a little bit of a front of the body stretch as well. Squeeze the heel of the front foot towards the arch of the back foot and vice versa. Keep your legs strong. And then inhale back to the center line. As you exhale, you windmill that right hand all the way down to the floor, turning the back foot to face straight forward and back. You go to three-legged table or three-legged dog, your choice. Left foot comes behind you. Bend the left knee, stack the left hip on top of the right for scorpion. Gazing over the shoulder in your table or under the armpit in your dog. Glue your left hand down as you square your hips. And then bring the foot or the knee to the floor. Inhale forward, high plank or low plank. Exhale to the mat. As you inhale, go for one cobra, lifting the center of your chest, rolling your shoulders back. And then as you exhale, release all the way to the floor. We're gonna go back, just scooting back onto my mat. If you weren't yourself off of your mat, you can scoot back as well. We're going to go into that full bow pose. Perhaps we'll start on the right again. Lowering everything down, bring your right foot in, lift your chest. You might decide to stay here. You might decide again to try the reach. You might press. If this part feels successful, you can go towards full bow pose by relaxing the right side, looking to the left, fold the left foot in, reach the left hand for the left foot, turn back towards the front of the mat. And that might feel like plenty, just kind of bringing your feet in towards you, stretching your quadriceps. Or you might go further by pressing the feet into the hands and lifting up, maybe lifting the thighs and the center of the chest. Taking a few deep breaths here. If you're on one side, just holding one foot, don't worry, we're going to do the other side. We'll just take a break in the middle. Exhale, release whatever you've got going on. Lower yourself all the way back to the floor, create a cushion, and take a few deep breaths. When you're ready, you can work your way over, beginning on the left. Folding the left foot in, lifting the chest. Maybe staying here, maybe reaching for the left foot. If that's successful and you can press a little bit and lift the chest, you might go for full bow pose again on the second side, reaching around for the right foot. And the more you kind of soften as you reach around, the easier it's going to be. And then work to come back up, pressing the feet into the hands, maybe lifting the chest, maybe lifting the thighs. And just a few breaths here. Feel the incredible work at the back of your body as you're lifting everything up. Inhale, and as you exhale, release. You could rest right here on your belly again, or press your hands down and push back towards your child's pose for a few breaths. And spend a few moments here. Let go. Even though we're lying on the floor in those bow poses, they are very intense. So take a few moments to unwind. When you're ready, you're going to come all the way back to the center. Table or downward facing dog. Take a few breaths there. Feel free to move around a little bit. If you feel really frisky, this is always a point where you can add an extra half vinyasa. That's plank, push up, back bend of choice. You can take any of the ones we've done today or any back bend in your repertoire. And then back to base. Just making things a little more fiery if you need that. It's also an opportunity, if you don't want to be in table or dog, to lie down in a child's pose or any other pose of rest before we move on. Meeting in a table or dog in the next breath or two. As you inhale, float your left foot to the sky. As you exhale, step your left foot up. Inhale, step your right foot up. Find halfway lift. Exhale to soften. Inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a deep, full breath. As you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, let your hands down and walk or step your feet towards the back of the mat, finding table or downward facing dog. Take a moment to get set up there. We're going to move directly into a lower lunge. So lift your right foot to the sky as you inhale. And then as you exhale again, step your right foot up between your hands. If your foot doesn't quite get there, grab your ankle and show it where to go. Bring your left knee again to the floor. Shrug your shoulders back. Begin to lift the center of your chest, and this time you do want to come up a little higher, maybe hands onto the thigh or the hips, or even lifting your arms up towards the ceiling. If it feels good, you might lean a little forward into that front knee. As you lean forward, keep drawing your belly button back towards your spine. Lift your chest. Maybe you draw your arms back by your ears. You're welcome to take a cactus arm here to keep the center of the chest really broad. Or if you feel tenderness in your lower back, a really nice option is to bring your hands to rest on your lower back, and that allows you to continue to open the chest, squeezing your shoulder blades together, but to get some support. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to come all the way forward. We're going to go for our lunge, but now in the low, or excuse me, our twist, but now in the low lunge. The left hand plants down and you twist over to your right. Shrug your shoulders back. You can lean again a little forward so you're lowering your left thigh towards the floor. You're feeling that stretch in the hip flexors and the quads. That might feel like plenty. You can stay right here. Or maybe you can reach your right arm back. I like to imagine that I'm lining my right arm up over my left leg. If that feels good and it feels possible, you can think about delivering your foot towards your hand. So another little bind option here. And for some people, this feels fantastic. For others, this feels terrible. If it feels terrible, please don't do this. We have plenty of other quadricep stretches today. This is just one option. Release the foot if you've caught on. Come back to the center line. Rock your right hip back and step your right knee next to your left knee. You can stay in table or you can tuck your toes and come to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Maybe move around a little bit. And then lift your left foot to the sky. Step your left foot forward, working it between the hands. Right knee comes to the floor. And again, you want to come a little higher in your lunge. So start by rolling your shoulders back. You can even squeeze your thighs together to help you lift up here. Hands to thigh, hips, or even arms up to the sky. Feel free to cushion your back knee if it feels a little tender, especially if you're going for that bind and you felt a little discomfort in your knee. A cushion is really nice. Lift the center of your chest. Maybe you come a little further forward into the hips. The hips move forward as the chest moves up and back. So it is a back bend here. You can keep the arms wide. I like to support my lower back because it often feels creaky in the morning. And you're just opening everything up. Feel the deep stretch at the front of your body and enjoy it. Appreciate the work that the back of your body is doing to hold you here. Inhale. And as you exhale, you take your hips forward. You bring your right hand down. You're going to enter into that twist. So coming over towards your left. And you can keep your hand on your back or your hip. Take your arm to the sky. Belly button pulls a little bit back. And you can absolutely stay right here. Just a really nice stretch for the inner hips and actually the outer hips. If you like that bind idea, you can come a little bit further forward, maybe deliver the foot to you, holding on. You're welcome to use a strap to hold on to the foot as well if it feels a little far away. And I always find this is more comfortable if I'm more on kind of the top of my knee than the kind of center point of my knee. If you're really high up, this can be quite uncomfortable on the knee. If you're able to get further forward, this can be a more kind of juicy place to be, stretch-wise. Inhale here. And as you exhale, release that foot if you caught it. Rock the hips back, plant the hands down. Step back to your table. This time, untuck your toes and perhaps you can sit back onto your heels. Now, for some of us, this is perfectly comfortable and we can just sit like this. For many of us, this is pure torture and we need some assistance. Either staying a little forward onto our fingertips or adding a prop. If you have a block, you can sit on the block. If you have a folded blanket, you can sit up onto a couple of folded blankets. So you're just making your hips a little higher so that the quad stretch is not as tight. If the tops of your feet are what troubles you, you can always sit onto a blanket here or roll the blanket right underneath your ankle joint. You can see if that feels comfortable. And if this just doesn't work for you, go ahead and come to a cross-legged seat or bringing your legs out in front of you. Again, it's just one option of many to stretch the fronts of the thighs. And what we're going to do after this with our chest will work here or sitting cross-legged. So don't worry if this is not a tenable position for your body. Shrug your shoulders back. Start to walk your hands behind you. We're going to go for a little camel pose. Squeeze the shoulder blades against the back of the heart. Lift the chest. Maybe you like to walk your hands a little further behind you. If you do happen to be sitting on your heels and you feel quite open and flexy and strong today, you can press into your hands and start to lift your hips, maybe walking your hands a little more in, coming towards this variation of bow pose. Wherever you are, you can take a few breaths. And then soften your tailbone. Start to roll all the way up from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Here you're gonna walk your hands in front of you. Come back to either a child's pose or a lying flat on your belly. Feel free to take your knees quite far apart. Do wherever you are, let your forehead rest to the floor for a few breaths. As you're ready, on inhale, you're going to slide yourself all the way forward onto your belly if you're not there yet. And we're going to take a little tree frog pose just to release all of those hard-working back muscles. So when you're ready, you're going to slide your right knee up and out to the side, about the height of your hip or lower. And you can practice like a little frog with your foot kind of extended out to the side, or you can practice more like a tree with the sole of the foot towards the thigh. And that might feel like plenty. You can stay right here. Or you might go a little deeper by lifting your chest, inchworming your torso over towards the right, so towards that bent knee, and then lie your head back down. You can create a cushion of your hands. I'm partial to resting my head to the side. And then let go. Really relax here. This is a very gentle way to open up all of those back muscles that did so much work to help us open the front of our body today. As you're ready, you're going to inchworm your torso back to the center line. You're going to bring that right knee back down to the floor. Now lift your torso up a little bit. You're going to thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. So we worked on the right leg, but now we're working on the left arm, so we're staying on the left side of the back. And then as you thread this arm underneath you, you just lower your body down. You're welcome to prop your head on your hand or anywhere else really that feels quite comfortable. And you find this little threaded needle and you use the weight of your body here to help you open the back of your shoulder. Once you're ready, you're going to unwind. Take a moment here just to rest on your belly, maybe resting your head onto your hands before we move over to the other side. And then you're going to take your left knee up and out for your frog over here. Again, you can practice with the foot kind of extended or with the sole of the foot a little more to the thigh. You can lift your torso and inchworm yourself a little more over to the left, a little deeper stretch for the right side of the back. And then rest your head down. Here you just want to honestly do as little as possible. Be functionally lazy. Relax the inner part of your left hip. Relax your belly and your shoulders and your jaw. torso back to the center line if you took it to the side. Bring that left knee in. Lift your torso up a little bit. You're going to thread now your right arm underneath your left armpit and lower yourself down. And don't hesitate to prop yourself up. If this feels like too much, you can always place a prop underneath your head or underneath your shoulder. You want to just feel this shoulder blade starting to separate from the muscles of the back. It did a lot of the opposite work, like a little counter to all of the things that we did today. And again, functionally lazy here. The more you just let yourself relax on top of that shoulder, the better the stretch is going to be. Unwind here. Again, just rest for a few breaths. I'm quite partially stretching my arms back behind me and letting my head come to one side so I can really just feel the kind of meat tenderized sensation in my shoulders. It feels like they're all just soft and open. When you're ready, you're going to bring your hands under your shoulders and press yourself back through a seat. Take your legs out to one side. We're going to come all the way down onto our backs here. If you happen to have a prop, we're going to take a bridge pose. If you prefer a supported bridge pose, you could place your folded up blanket or a yoga block or a book next to you so you can rest your hips down. Right? You can also do this as a regular bridge pose as well. Hands behind the thighs, lift the center of your chest as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, you're just going to slowly roll all the way to the floor and bring your knees in with you like we did at the beginning of class. And maybe move a little side to side, getting your low back comfortable. And then release the feet to the floor. Let your hands come down by your sides for support. Press the heels to the floor. Press the belly button to the floor and then lift your hips up. And this isn't so much about working the back of the body now. We've done plenty of that. It's just about stretching the front of the body. So you can just lift up and feel a nice openness. You could take your arms over your head if you want. And if you want something a little more relaxing, you could take, again, a prop underneath your hips and let that prop do the work. If you go for that propped variation, you could make this a little psoas release. Stretching your legs to the bottom of the mat, stretching your arms to the top of the mat. One final stretch for the front of the body. If you happen to be in an active variation of your bridge pose, you stay for another breath or two. And then, regardless of whether or not you're using a prop, you lower your hips all the way down. Stretch the legs long. You stretch the arms up over your head. And you just feel the front of your body. If you have the prop underneath your hips, you can stay with that prop underneath your hips for as long as you like. Just adds an extra little bit of stretch to the front of the body by lifting the hips a few inches away from the floor. If you're all the way flat, no worries, you're still getting a lovely stretch. And if that feels good, this kind of extended reclined position, arms and legs very long, go ahead and stay right here. You can stay here for your whole Shavasana if you want, just basking in the glorious length of your body, of the front of your body. Or at any point, you can move your arms down by your sides. If you want, you can move your prop out to the side. If there's another pose or shape that your body requires, before Shavasana. Go ahead and find that. Making your way to your own most comfortable resting place today. As usual, if you have the time, I encourage you to stay here. If it is time to move on with your day, take a deep breath in, big sigh out. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And as you're ready, roll yourself over to one side to rest for a few breaths. Before making your way to your most comfortable seated position. Gathering your hands in front of your heart. All 10 fingertips pressed together, heels of the hands pressed together. We'll close with our deep breath together, in through nose if possible, out through mouth, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your presence, your yoga, and your time with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day.